Cool.
Oh, nice.
All right, that sounds fun.
Full on, big ass.
All right, thank you. Speaking of Pittsburgh, from SteelersGab.com, that would be Matt Lodi. Hi, Matt.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
And also joining us on the phone line, Garrett Downing from Ravens.com. Hi, Garrett. How are you?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you?
All right, so we're going to do a little AFC North roundup right now. Garrett, let's start with you and your Ravens. Thoughts on things that are going on in Baltimore?
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens are in Detroit tonight playing, a huge game on Monday Night Football. The Ravens look at the last three games and really kind of must-win games to some extent, with Miami beating the Patriots yesterday and the Chargers suddenly sneaking back into the wild card race by beating Denver on Thursday night. The Ravens have those two teams nipping at their heels for that sixth wild card spot. And with the way the Bengals game went last night against Pittsburgh, the Ravens are sitting there saying the division's not out of reach yet. So that's a huge, huge game on Monday or tonight. And so if the Ravens are going to continue to control their own destiny, they've got to win tonight in Detroit.
And as we go back to Matt Lodi, Matt, look, I'm listening to the game last night, and it's not over yet. Steelers aren't dead. 2 weeks to go.
Yeah, they've got to have a couple teams lose in front of them, but obviously I think last night was their most inspired effort of the season. I think that loss to Miami a week ago kind of put them, obviously way behind the eight ball, but they really came out last night. I thought their effort was as good as it's been at any point this season, guys, and obviously the Bengals were a little shell-shocked, I'll be honest. I don't think the Bengals were prepared for a Steelers team that really was ready to go. Defensively, they played very well. They were able to hold A.J. Green pretty much in check. The running game for the Bengals was not good at all. And the Steelers' offense got things going. And, of course, Antonio Brown on the special team side with the punt return. You scored 21 points in the first quarter. Most of the time, you're going to find a way to win. They were able to do that last night. And, as I said, they've got Green Bay and the Browns left. They obviously have to have those two games, and a lot of things happen otherwise. But it was good to see them get a win and get back on track a little bit and, go from 2-6 now to 6-8. But they still got a lot of work to do, and it's still going to be a very interesting offseason for this team.
Garrett, what's the mood of Ravens fans going into tonight's game?
I think there's a lot of people who are confident. I mean, the Ravens are riding a three-game winning streak. I think that there's a lot of nervousness going up against Calvin Johnson and Megatron, especially considering some of the comments this week where the Ravens rookie safety, Matt Elam, he was praising Calvin Johnson, but he also said that he's old. And so that, created a little bit of a stir. And so I think there's some nervousness about what Calvin Johnson's going to do tonight if he's going to have a huge day. But I think that for the most part, Ravens fans are confident. I think that in order for the Ravens to win tonight, they've got to have some success on offense. Their offense has been, in the bottom third of the NFL pretty much all year. This is the first time they've played in the dome all year. First time they're going to have nice weather. 72 degrees and playing on carpet is the first time they've had that in a long time. They played in the snow last week. They played in a near tornado in Chicago. They played in wind and rain. It's been nasty weather all year. So I know they're excited about what can happen playing inside. I think tonight's going to be an offensive-led game. I think both teams are going to be able to put up points, and I think it could be a situation where, it's a 31-28 kind of a game.
You know what? I think they win tonight, they get in the playoffs. They lose tonight, they're done. I mean, the 1-5 on the road going into Detroit to play a team that can pack points on is going to be a really tough task, I think, Garrett.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I think if they lose tonight, really going to be tough because then you got to beat the Patriots at home, and then you got to go into that Week 17 game against Cincinnati as a must-win. So I think that tonight this could be the season tonight. It really could.
All right. It must be fun to have something to play for.
Yeah.
Both these teams.
Exactly. I'm jealous of both of you.
All right, Garrett, thank you. We appreciate your time. Hang on, Matt. We'll talk to you one more second. Garrett, have a great game tonight. Have a lot of fun.
All right. Thanks, guys. Enjoy it.
All right, Garrett Downing joining us from Ravens.com. Make sure you read him there. And let's go back to Matt Lodi one more time. All right, so Browns-Steelers to end the season. It would be interesting if that game the last week of the year means something for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, absolutely, Andy. I think when you look at that game and now obviously that rivalry, the Steelers have kind of owned that rivalry. We've talked about that before. We talked about that when the two teams played a couple of weeks ago. For the Steelers, again, it really comes down to what do you have to play for. I know that you look at the lineup even last night, there's a lot of different guys in there. Al Woods playing at nose tackle. The offensive line, due to injuries, has been shifted around so many times this season. But like I said, this is about the future. and the present. I know that sounds weird, but, you know, it's almost like you don't want to have to give up a whole season just to get better. But for the Steelers, they may have to make some really hard decisions this offseason. I think Dick LeBeau may be on his way out. I think Todd Haley may be on his way out as well, which would be very interesting because that's obviously your two big coordinators. Mike Tomlin isn't going anywhere. All the rumors about him, or the rumor about him possibly going to Texas, is not going to happen. But, yeah, it will be interesting. There will be things to play for possibly in Week 18. And even if there isn't, it'll be very reminiscent of last year when the two teams played in Pittsburgh. Thaddeus Lewis, if you remember, started that game for the Browns and kind of kept them in it for a while. So I think it'll be a competitive game. And if you're the Browns, you want to win that game. You want to go out on a high note. And if you're the Steelers, you want to continue your dominance over your rival.
Hey, Matt, is there any way Mike Tomlin's not there next year?
No, I don't think so. I mean, unless it's on his own volition, guys. I mean, to me, you know how the Rooneys do business. You guys have seen it over the years. 3 coaches in, 60 years, something like that, between Noel, Cowher, and now Tomlin. Listen, they've had 2 down years. I mean, Bill Cowher had 3 down years in a row, and then the following year they made the AFC Championship game. So I just don't see it happening. There's no way, you know, I know the antics of the Baltimore situation when he was on the sideline and everything. They'll put that behind them. They'll get things straightened out, I believe, in this offseason. Make some hard decisions about the coordinator jobs. Make some hard decisions about what they want to do offensively next year. You know, Ben Roethlisberger, he's getting up there. He's got a couple years left, but he's getting up there. And I think that, you know, there's got to be some hard decisions about Roethlisberger and how long that they want, and not how long they want him there, but how long that he will be there. And they realize that the clock is ticking. The window, if you will, that has been open for a while for this team is closing, and they need to make decisions about guys like Palomalu, Lamar Woodley, Brett Kiesel, Ryan Clark. I mean, there's a number of defensive guys because of their age and what they're making that they have to make decisions about, and those decisions will be made this offseason.
All right, Matt, thank you. SteelersGab.com, right, my friend?
You got it, my friends. Thank you so much. Have a great day and a great week, as always.
You too.
Yeah,
We'll
you
talk
too,
to you
Matt.
later. Matt Lodi joining us on the Skype line, brought to us by our good friends at Wayside Furniture. What we're going to do for you, and just to give you a heads up, Eric, again, we're going to play the Angry Browns fan video one more time for you this morning. In case you missed it, this is Volume 2, Dose, the sequel. So we'll do that for you in a couple minutes here, and we're going to play that out. Kenny Rhoda is going to join us in just one more minute here, and we're going to go through some final thoughts. So you've got 2 weeks left to play, Mike. What is this team playing for the next 2 weeks?
It's pride, Andy. That's all it is. There's nothing else left. It's pride and a chance to beat the Steelers in the last game of the year, which is all you can ask for if you're a Browns fan. You're playing for pride at this point, and it's a tough situation because it's how many years in a row now have we said this? They're playing for pride. But as Matt Wilhelm said, and he's played on a 4-12 team in San Diego, every man right now says to himself, I'm going to man up and ball out, or am I done? And you mentioned a couple times playing for tape, pride, and the fact that you don't want to say, your teammate next to you, if I'm sitting next to you every single day and I'm looking at you and you're going, you gave up. You gave up. I know we're bad, but you gave up.
No, and the other thing, too, is if you don't hustle, the next guy could get hurt because you didn't hustle, and I think that's an important part of playing. Hang on a second.
Computer we got crawled up.
Look at the Twitter.
Oh, that's Sonya, yeah.
Sonya.
Strictly for ratings.
Yep.